What's up, everybody? And here we go with game number 1 of this Rainbow Draft Weekend tournament. This is the first game, and I ended up getting to go first. So I roll up my 4 dice, and I'm right away just going to pay for a superhero registration act. My goal is to build up my ramp quickly because this is the only inset ramp that I see. My opponent did bring gearing up, so I could purchase that too. He also brought stealth ops. He's got a couple of low drops in Ant-Man and Justice. He's got a two dice for Ronin, 3 for Speedball, so he picked up a couple of those. Hercules, like I have, he's got Miss Marvel, 6 cost. He's got a 4-drop Wasp and a 6 cost Thor. All around, some decent cards. That Speedball is the same Speedball that I have. It's the uncommon one, so it's the one that if it takes damage, you roll a die and draw and prep it and all that. So it's kind of a limited ability. If it can land, it's great. If it doesn't, I mean, it's not great, obviously. So I went ahead and bought, as I said. So my opponent's turn begins. Rolls 2 sidekicks. That's good for me. Let's see if he fields those. He's also got 2 energy. Looks like he's going to re-roll the 2 sidekicks, though. One of them comes back, and he's going to keep one of those bolts. Obviously, he has to. So 2 bolts and a question mark. He's going to make that question mark a mask, represent it as a mask, and pick up a Ronin. So my opponent spends his first turn purchasing a character. I roll very similarly to my opponent last turn. 2 sidekicks and 2 bolts. Not going to want any of that. Not looking to buy a speedball early. End up with 3 energy and 1 sidekick. So the sidekick will go out. That's a good start for working towards 2 sidekicks, because if I get 2 sidekicks, then the Justice that I buy here will get buffed. Now here I had an option. I could have also picked up my own. I could have picked up a couple things, actually. I could have also picked up my own Ronin. I could have picked up a Namorita. But I end up choosing to go with the 2-drop Justice. Now, there's some schools of thought that say, you know, purchase on curve. If you've got 3 energy, try to spend 3 energy. I went against that this time. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It's really kind of up to how the game plays out. My opponent re-rolled one of his sidekicks that came up sidekick. He's got 4 energy here. No bolts, so he can't pick up the speedball, but he's going to pay a mask and pick up Wasp. The 1 energy that was left over from my 2-drop purchase of Justice goes back into used, and that all goes in the bag. I pick up 4, and I end up drawing on here on turn 3. End up drawing and rolling Superhero Registration Act. So I'm going to field that sidekick most likely, unless I choose to re-roll it. But if I field it, then I know for sure that my Justice will have a +2 buff. So there's actually some incentive here to field it. Both also that and also getting sidekicks out of my bag. But it looks like I'm going to re-roll it here. Comes up as energy, which I can then use to purchase here. So if my opponent chooses not to KO his sidekick there. So if I roll 3 energy, I actually have 6. And I rolled 3 energy. So here I could purchase a Captain Marvel. I could even purchase a Hercules and have 1 left over. Neither of us are running globals, except there's a global on... What is that? Stealth Ops over there. There's a global on Stealth Ops that says pay 2 masks. And it's a mask, right? I think it's pay 2 masks. And spin a character down a level. Instead of buying Captain Marvel, though, I pick up the other Justice and a 4-cost Speedball. So I go the more characters route. And again, I guess here my hope would be to roll those characters, field those characters, and be good to go on that. My opponent rolls 2 sidekicks, 2 shields. Accidentally bumps a shield there. Gonna re-roll the 2 sidekicks. One of them comes back, and he's got 3 energy to play with. So is he gonna go another Ronin here? Maybe he'll pick up one of those Justice or Ant-Man dice. No, he's gonna buy a Stealth Ops. So I was curious as to why he brought Stealth Ops. Most people will put something in and just not use it, but he's actually purchasing it. So that means I'm actually kind of worried because he's going to be able to make something unblockable. Justice doesn't come up. Definitely want to re-roll him. And, he doesn't come up again. So that's actually pretty not good for me. That's pretty bad. But I am going to get to use Superhero Registration Act again. My opponent's going to KO his sidekick I'm only going to get to roll 2, and they're just sidekicks. But they come up as extra energy. So here I have another opportunity to purchase both of, or one of the 2 of my big fielding purchase cost characters. One of the 2 of them. It's probably a good time for me to do so. There's not a lot of opportunities to buy a large cost character, anything 5 or more in Rainbow Drafts, because there's just not a proliferation of ramp. There's not a ton of ramp. Instead of doing that, I'm investing my energy into more ramp and purchasing one of the superhero registration acts. Left 2 in the field there, the reserve pool, excuse me. My opponent pays to field his Wasp that he rolled, picks up a Justice for 2, and fields the Sidekick. So he's got a good board here, and he's going to push in with all 3, and I end up choosing to take all said damage. Again, my goal, and he's not invested at all in ramp, even though he brought gearing up, which means he's going to have to churn through his bag to get to that stuff. I'm rolling 2 characters here. Speedball and Justice. Reroll Justice. Got Speedball. And Justice does come up this time. I'm looking at an empty board, so I can choose to swing if I wanted to. I have the ramp to burn through it. I probably should think about doing so. I don't necessarily have to, especially if he does end up drawing a character on top of the character that he just pulled from his bag, whatever's left over. I choose not to, though. Oh man, and my opponent draws the other 2 characters that came or that went into his bag. So that's actually a really terrible draw for me, for him. It's good for him, but terrible for me. Rolls the Ronin. It's the 1 fielding cost side, which means it's on its top side, the 135. He accidentally bumps his Wasp, but he ends up with 2 characters. One of them is really good. Wasp I'm not too big on. He's going to field both of them, paying 2, and that leaves him with a bolt. And he's just going to push that bolt kind of over off to the side. Or maybe he had to pay all 3, I'm not sure. Bumping a little bit of that table there. 4 sidekicks come out of the bag for me, and that's not exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to start working back through that bag by pulling one of the 2 superhero registration acts. At this point, I'm starting to regret not buying one of those larger drop characters, 5 or 6 drops. Picking up one of my 2 Ronins. See, a Ronin is actually a really good die for countering that Stealth Ops play. I did not buy it earlier, though. I probably should have. With the way he's been purchasing, it's kind of hard to tell who is the aggressor here and who is the who's supposed to be playing the quote-unquote control game, because he's kind of been purchasing a little bit all over the place, but he's picked up a lot more characters than I have, so I really should be playing control here. Instead, I am going to block because obviously I want to trigger Speedball's taking combat damage ability. Roll it, does not come up energy, so it pops back in the bag. And I KO, he goes back. Instead of really playing the control ability game, I guess, control game, I've been electing to take the damage. I guess just the one time elected to take the damage. Speedball does not come up the first time. I do get SRA, that's nice. Gonna reroll Speedball and the Sidekick most likely. Can always keep the Sidekick if I wanted to. I could also keep the Speedball. Keeping the Sidekick means I'm gonna have one less bag or one less die moving through the bag, which is great. Got a lot of energy if I choose to just pop that out there. Let's see if he KOs a character. Ask my opponent 3 or 2. He goes ahead and says 3. So I refill my bag. Another opportunity for a Justice to get out there on the board. And he does. I actually also roll another Sidekick. So I succeed in getting more Sidekicks out on the board, allowing me a little more breathing room with blockers. The other SRA does not trigger, though, which is what I really want. I want to chain those. One triggering to pull the other, which triggers to pull even more dice. Paying a mask and a bolt. and then paying 3 for a Cloud Kill. So I put Cloud Kill on this team, obviously, to get attackers, as I have here, out on the board and allow myself to Cloud Kill his board and swing in unblockable. He's kind of going a similar route with Stealth Ops, but it's only for 1 die. I swing in with a Justice just to try to clear something out of the board, but it was probably a really bad idea, actually, to do so. Allows me to re-roll it next turn, though. And I'm not really in fear of taking a ton of damage because I have blockers. Obviously, if he rolls Stealth Ops like he did there, the Stealth Ops character is going to go through regardless. So having an extra Justice out on the field, not going to do me much good. Oh, and this is really scary. My opponent buys one of my own Cloud Kill dice. So I take the damage from the Wasp that he sent through, popping me down to 14. Rerolling, I'm rolling 3 characters here. The Justice comes back. That is a great card in draft. If you have the opportunity to draft Justice, do it. Field my Ronin. And I have 4 here. So my options are pretty limited, except the fact that I actually have a Fist, so I can pick up Iron Fist. If I had not rolled that Fist, I guess I had the question mark too, so I was pretty good. Pretty set. But if you've noticed, I haven't been able to string together successive die rolls in order to buy a Hercules or Captain Marvel since those first 2 turns, or those first couple of turns. So did I miss my opportunity to do so? My opponent re-rolls, does not get Stealth Ops. So he is going to field, paying 2 with that 2 generic. He's going to pay 2 for the Ant-Man. And he's not going to attack, he's going to pass turn. I have clear board advantage, so obviously he's not going to want to swing in. It would do him no good. Going to want to keep that sidekick. I would most likely keep that. Rerolling only the SRA. SRA does not land, so I'm going to have to pay 3, pick up a Namorita. And I'm going to save the double mask side on the Pim particles. There you go, I pronounced it right. Pim. Save the double mask. Because if he rolls Stealth Ops, and it looks like he did, if he rolls Stealth Ops just like that, then I can at least spin down whatever character he attaches it to down a level, as the global says. So here it looked like he wanted energy. He was re-rolling that to try and buy a 5-drop. Probably as Hercules. He's attaching that to Wasp. I'm going to spin it down, paying 2 for the global. So instead of taking, I think it was 4, I end up taking 3. I explained to him what happens. I spin his character down. Going to move that double mask over to spent. I get bumped down to 11. And it's going to be my turn to draw things up and roll them. So again, I get an SRA here, which is nice. I also have Cloud Kill. Now, I don't have lethal. I don't have 20 damage on the board yet. So rolling Cloud Kill would actually not be very good for me. But rolling SRA is really important because I can mill through my bag again. Or not mill, churn through my bag again. Cloud Kill doesn't land, thankfully. Not sure why I re-rolled that. It's probably a bad play. Don't land SRA, though. So this is probably the 3rd time that has not landed, meaning I'm getting 2 generics, but I'm not getting what I really want. And I have to pay 2 to field Speedball there, too, so I'm still not able to purchase one of those 2 higher drop characters. Attack with Speedball, and I also attack with the Justice. And the other Justice as well. My opponent blocks 1. And does not trigger the ability, or he does have the opportunity to trigger the ability on Ronin. And he's actually running the different Ronin, excuse me. He's not running my Ronin. My Ronin allows me to block and also KO before damage is assigned to avoid taking damage from multiple characters. His is just the one that does like -2 or something like that. He refields his characters. He took 6 damage, though, which brought him close to my life total, which is exactly what I want to do. I just want to keep in range. I want us to stay roughly similar, roughly the same. SRA lands. Justice landed. Didn't land Iron Fist. I would have liked to because next turn I'm going to be pulling that Pim Particles again. I could have applied it to him. I don't have another Fist character that I can apply it to. So this is really showing, and there it is right there actually. This is really showing the rigidity of that strategy. It's not really serving me much purpose, except it does have the ability to roll 2 energy on it. I finally am able to purchase Hercules here. And I have so many sidekicks that them all getting +1 when he attacks is going to be extremely beneficial. So he adds everything from prep, rolls it all up. He's got his own speedball, and it looks like it landed. His other 2 characters did not, and he's really focusing on that cloud kill. Let's see if he rolls that cloud kill back up. In fact, it's kind of hard to see on this camera if that's cloud kill or if that is stealth ops, because I'm running purple on cloud kill and he's running red on stealth ops. Doesn't look like it's what he wants anyway. He's going to field characters and then pay 6 for his, or is it 7? I can't tell. Pay 6 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, for his Thor there. Leaving him with 1 bolt isn't going to do much. I guess he's using that bolt to pay that fielding cost that he did. Very first thing. Obviously choosing not to attack. Got a lot of colorful dice in my hand here. Namorita lands. Again, I have Pim Particles and nothing to attach it to, so I'm going to want to re-roll that and make sure it comes up any mask whatsoever. But it does not. SRA does land. That's always good. Opponent has to choose between 3 or 2. Do I roll 3 dice? Do I roll 2 dice? If 2, he's got to KO one of his characters. He's going to KO Speedball. That is not combat damage, so his ability does not trigger. I pick up 2 dice and roll them. SRA lands off of those 2 dice. I add energy from Justice. So I'm going to ask again, 3 or 2. He's going to say 3, which is the right play. And here I would really have loved to have landed that Hercules. If I could have landed Hercules, that would have been pretty close to game, because he only has 1 blocker. Namorita plus Hercules is a good little combo there. Pick up the other cloud kill to try and seal this off, and I pick up the 3rd SRA to try and use it to churn through my bag one more time to get to that cloud kill and to get to that Hercules. Really, those are my one or the other are my win conditions at this point, because I have 14 damage on board. In fact, I've got, I think both of those Namoritas are on their top face, so they're both 2 6s. My opponent has 3 characters that can come out here. He's got a sidekick already. He's rolled the Wasp. He's going to keep that, it looks like. He's going to re-roll everything else. Not choosing to keep the sidekick. Looks like he's... No, it was a Ronin maybe, not a Wasp. He did roll the Wasp this time. And is that also a Speedball? Looks like he also got the Speedball. Wow. So his board went from sparse to pretty populated. That's not good for me. Attacks with a Speedball. And here I have a choice. I can take this damage. That drops me to 7, I think. I can... 11 to 9, 8, 7. Yep. That would drop me to 7. But I block with Namorita, and I avoid that altogether, because non-shield characters, when she blocks, non-shield characters will get captured by her unless my opponent KOs one of his own characters. He chooses not to, so I go ahead and move on to my turn. Nothing happens. I don't take damage. I could have, as I mentioned, I could have taken that damage, dropped to 7, but I elected not to. Rolled 2 characters and SRA. This is probably the perfect turn for me. He's going to choose 3 or 2. Most likely choose 2 here. Going to KO a character. I need to roll energy now. And unfortunately I roll energy, but I rolled energy with the Hercules. I am going to be able to field everything. And it doesn't look like I landed Pim Particles. Looks like I landed that on its 1 mask face. But I at least have an Iron Fist out there, and I at least have a Speedball out there. I can attack with Speedball. Hope he blocks, gets some combat damage to land on Speedball, and then draw and roll a die, hoping to prep it. So his fast damage deals to me first. The combat damage will trigger that roll. It comes up energy, and I KO his character no matter what, because that fast damage was not enough to KO my character first. Mine comes back, Speedball on his 4/5 face, and his Wasp gets KO'd. So now we have a problem. He's got Cloud Kill in there. He's got 2 energy, or sorry, 2 characters. Cloud Kill does not land, but Stealth Ops does. So this could be game if things go his way right here. Bump to character. So if he rerolls that and that comes up Cloud Kill, I have lost game 1. But it does not, thankfully. So it stays energy. He's obviously going to field everything. He's got the energy to do so. Fields there, and looks like he's going to field here too. And let's see if he goes ahead and actually uses Stealth Ops. He's going to Stealth Ops his Speedball, which is going to come in for 4 damage, bumping me all the way down to 7. And at which point I am going to draw up and start my turn. So here I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm looking to land a Cloud Kill. I'm looking to draw up any other characters would be good. I've got multiple Cloud Kills in here, and got the opportunity to roll it. There it is. And so that should actually be game. Rolling that Cloud Kill. Reroll the character just for security's sake, but I have more than enough damage, and thankfully he did not kill me last turn. I am going to play it out, though, just in case. Maybe I didn't even catch it. I'm not sure. So he's going to choose 3, and so I am going to draw and roll 3. Gotta put those back in and draw them. So I have 2 more SRAs here. Roll 1 of them. So he's going to choose 3, and I'm going to do as many as possible. Not sure I actually have 3 here. I only have 2. So don't land the Hercules, but I think I've got enough damage right here for the kill anyway. All this energy as well. So Cloud Kill, 1 damage to all of his characters, and none of them can block unless he pays 1 energy per character to block. And playing Cloud Kill, I deal more than enough damage as long as I push forward and swing. So I declare that I'm going to attack with everything, push forward with everything, and at which point I win the first game. So I barely eked out of that first game by the skin of my teeth, barely picked that one up. If he was basically one roll away from winning that first game. So that means I am 1-0 with this team. It was a lot of fun, but I realized that I bogged myself down a ton buying some of these lower cost characters so quickly, and I made a couple of pretty big errors not picking up characters on curve when I should have, when I had 5 energy, when I had 6 energy. Buying one of those 5 or 6 cost characters would have made things a lot easier, because then anything I buy after that is going to get buffed if I can get those characters out. Plus my dice count is lowered, and it's easier to get through the bag, especially if you're using something as powerful as SRA. So I'm going to take all of those things that I just mentioned, and I'm going to try to apply them in game number 2. Thanks for watching.